Idaho students plans to waive his extradition at a hearing this week in his home state of Pennsylvania, which may expedite his return to Idaho. Isabel Rosales tells us what the suspect's attorney is saying, plus what someone who knew the suspect has revealed about his behavior around the time of the killings.
Nearly 7 weeks since the stabbing deaths of 4 young students rocked their college community in Idaho, the suspect, 28-year-old Brian Koberger, is facing 4 counts of first-degree murder.
It was just like totally jarring, totally shocking to realize that this person that had been, kind of grading my papers was, allegedly this like horrible murderer.
The suspect's behavior seemed to take a turnaround during the time of the murders. That's according to an undergraduate student at Washington State University, where Koberger was a PhD student. He says Koberger looked and acted differently in class.
He had like a little bit more facial hair, just like stubble, but definitely less like well kept than he was. Or it was like, he didn't really want to be there. That was at like an all-time high. And he just, didn't look like he was doing great.
Investigators say they received a flood of calls, more than 400, within an hour of announcing an arrest in the case. Authorities still have not publicly confirmed a possible motive or if the suspect knew the victims. An FBI team surveilled Koberger for days during a cross-country trip back home with his father around Christmas.
He's doing okay. He's shocked a little bit.
Koberger's attorney emphasizing his client should be presumed innocent until proven otherwise. Words echoed by Koberger's family, who say they have fully cooperated with law enforcement. Writing in a statement, "We care deeply for the 4 families who have lost their precious children. There are no words that can adequately express the sadness we feel." I'm Isabel Rosales reporting.
And police in Moscow, Idaho have not found the murder weapon yet. They still say the state law limits what information can be released until Koberger makes his first appearance in an Idaho court. When that happens, the probable cause affidavit, which details the facts leading to his charges, will be unsealed. That's all according to a county prosecutor.
In news around America, we're going to talk about Alzheimer's. The Food and Drug Administration expected to announce this week whether it will give accelerated approval of an experimental new treatment. Lecanemab is one of the first experimental dementia drugs that appears to slow the progression of cognitive decline. Accelerated approval allows for earlier approval of drugs that treat serious conditions and fill an unmet medical need. Phase 3 trials indicate lecanemab has shown potential as an Alzheimer's treatment, but there are also safety concerns. It's been associated with certain serious adverse events like brain swelling and bleeding.
Well, it's another first for Elon Musk, but probably not the one he wanted to achieve. The CEO of Tesla, SpaceX, and Twitter has lost more wealth than anyone in history. That's according to Bloomberg Billionaires Index. Musk's net worth at its peak last year was $340 billion, and now it's $137 billion. Still not too shabby.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. That makes Musk, though, the first person to lose $200 billion in wealth. The bulk of Musk's wealth is tied up in Tesla, whose stock plunged 65% last year. Demand for Teslas weakened as competition in electric vehicles surged.
The Vatican releasing more details about the upcoming funeral of Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI. We're learning the funeral will happen overnight Thursday. The 95-year-old will be buried immediately afterwards in a crypt where more than 90 popes have been laid to rest. Meantime, as Faith Abube reports, tens of thousands of mourners continue lining up to see the former pope one final time as he lies in state inside St. Peter's Basilica.
A steady stream of mourners filing into St. Peter's Basilica all day to see Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI lying in state. Some of the mourners taking photos of the former pope's body, there on a bier with pillows, adorned with a bishop headgear and a rosary in his hands.
You could feel the emotions he had before he died. That's what my impression was.
Christine Johnson is visiting from California.
I'm very emotional. My daughter was born right when he became Pope.
Papal admirers and grieving Catholics expected to continue joining the queue to pay their final respect until the former Pope's funeral on Thursday. Vatican security estimates about 65,000 people came by to see the late pontiff on Monday alone. Benedict XVI served as the leader of the Catholic Church for just under 8 years. He stunned the world in 2013 when he stepped stepped down from the lifetime position, citing his declining health. It was the first resignation of a pope in 600 years. The 95-year-old admired for his traditional teachings and conservative leadership, but also criticized for not doing more after the sex abuse scandal that rocked the church. He eventually met with the sex abuse victims and publicly acknowledged their trauma. His death now setting up a historic moment where current pope will preside over his predecessor's funeral mass.
And Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI will be buried in St. Peter's Crypt immediately after his funeral on Thursday. It's unclear at this point whether any officials from the U.S. will attend in a private capacity, since the Italians and Germans are the only two official delegations invited to the funeral. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
All right, still ahead, 2022 was a lot of things, but it was not boring. Why some are saying 2023 will be just as, if not more, interesting. That's next.
When I was a young student in high school, I was part of what was called swing choir. We did a song called The Age of Aquarius. Have I told you this story, Courtney?
You may have.
Okay. Possibly. Steve, why are you bringing this up?
Yeah, tell me, Steve.
Well, depending on which experts you follow, we are either at the dawning or in the midst of the actual age of Aquarius. As ABC's Will Gantz tells us, according to the positions of the planets, 2023 could be an interesting year for all of us.
There's a lot to look forward to this year, astrologically.
I would say leisure, creativity, and less stress overall. I think we're coming out of this period of emotional heaviness from the past 2 years.
And according to astrologer Alice Bell, 2023 will be especially special if you're an Aries or a Taurus.
Jupiter is moving through Aries and Taurus. So those signs, Aries and Taurus, are probably going to have a lot more opportunity and feel a lot less stress or pressure on them.
But everybody will reap the benefits of the planetary movements this spring.
Jupiter is moving into Taurus on May 16th. So that will be really exciting. So a bigger emphasis on people enjoying leisure time. Taurus is so much about taking it slow, really enjoying life. So just seeing that more widespread, maybe the 4-day work week is more of a thing that becomes a focus.
And buckle up for March.
March will be a really critical month this year. Saturn's moving into Pisces. Also Pisces themes related to escapism too. So the last time Saturn was in Pisces was the mid 1990s, and that was the rise of video games.
Also at the end of March, Pluto moves into Aquarius.
And that's a huge deal. Pluto hasn't changed signs since 2008. So with Pluto moving into Aquarius, that's really centered around technology. So I definitely expect the rise of artificial intelligence to become even bigger, and maybe also bigger changes going on with social media.
So we are currently in a Mercury retrograde right now. In fact, all 3 Mercury retrogrades this year are in Earth signs. So you should focus on how to better organize your day, be more productive. Alice says these 3 weeks are all about re-strategizing in the realm of work and routine. Will Gantz, ABC News, New York.
All right. They didn't even play the song.
I had no idea. I was standing next to Steve Spriester from Swing Choir.
It was many moons ago.
I feel very special.
Yeah,
We need a commercial break song.
Well, we don't. But they didn't even play the song.
I know. I was looking forward to it. And by the way, there's only one star that I care about. That's the power of the sun. Oh, how hot it was today. We got up to 82
wow,
degrees
look at her.
for the high. 90 in Carissa Springs, 91 in Cotulla, upper 70s in Kerrville. All right, we have got a cool front that's going to be moving through overnight. That's going to bring us less humidity, but it'll still be mild and warmer than average for the remainder of the week. We've even got an isolated shower on the radar that I want to talk about coming up in a bit.
Okay, a New Year's Day list by Rolling Stone magazine is getting some buzz, but maybe not the kind the publisher wanted for its list of the greatest 200 singers of all time. There is an uproar, Steve, about one of the names conspicuously absent from the list, which is Celine Dion.
Yeah, the list ranges from Aretha Franklin to Rosalia, other artists known for standout singing, but there has been major blowback on social media for Dion being left out. She wasn't the only notable artist excluded. There were also complaints that others weren't included, including Dionne Warwick, Diana Ross, and Sting. But Celine Dion does seem to be
yeah, it's a little off. I think they regret that a little bit.
It's all right. Her heart will go on.
Oh my God.
Jane Fonda is looking to unload some treasures from her art collection. The legendary actress acquired some artwork over the past 2 decades by the late American artist Thornton Dial, the son of Alabama sharecroppers. Dial gained prominence for dynamic sculptures and wall pieces that he constructed from found objects, paint, and other materials.
Yeah, 14 of Fonda's Dial pieces will be sold at Christie's annual Outsider and Vernacular Art Auction on January 18th in New York. They include large-scale mixed media wall works by Thornton Dial, estimated to sell for $50,000 to $100,000. Some painted animal-shaped benches by his son, Dial Jr., could fetch up to $4,000 each.
Those are very unique.
Yeah, they are.
I like it a lot. Okay, well, a lot of people will be hoping to start the new year as millionaires since no one had the winning numbers for this past Friday's Mega Millions lottery. Tuesday's jackpot is an estimated $785 million. That would make it the 4th largest jackpot in the game's history.
The jackpot expected to be even bigger by the time the numbers are drawn, as big jackpots draw more people looking to strike it rich. Only 3 previous Mega Millions jackpots have gone above the $700 million mark. All 3 times those rollovers continued on past $1 billion.
Things are getting crazy.
It seems like we're talking about a lot of these Mega Millions, Powerball jackpot winners.
Getting really high. Yeah. And then it makes people want to buy in more.
It does.
I get overwhelmed by it, so I don't really participate a lot.
Yeah, I'm a little cynical, like, what's going on here?
I'll be keeping my job, don't worry.
I have a rule. I only play if it's above $500 million.
Okay, well, then you can play.
But see, if this keeps getting bigger and bigger, you might have to, like, lift that up a little bit.
Probably, and that's where that, like, what's actually happening comes into play. I don't know. But I do know that there are a few lucky folks in Guadalupe County getting a splash and dash shower.
Ooh,
Take
nice.
a look at the radar right now. You can see just north of Seguin there, close to Kingsbury, we're getting a shower that's pushing into Caldwell County. Brief heavy rain for those just to the north of Kingsbury there, right on the Caldwell County line, right next to Prairie Lea and Wynard. So, again, talk about a winter whiplash. I mean, it was just 10 days ago that we saw 16 degrees Friday morning before Christmas. Incredibly cold Arctic air pushed in. Today, the high temperature was 82. I mean, this is Texas in the winter, am I right? We go from cold to warm weather just like that, a 66-degree difference in the span of 10 days. And even outside right now, it's still 80 degrees. Winds are calm at the moment, but those winds are going to pick up later on tonight as that front moves through. And again, we're going to be looking at temperatures falling to about 64 degrees by midnight, and that's when that cool front is going to arrive. There is a chance for an isolated shower as that front moves through, but not a great chance. I'll show you the futurecast here in just a bit. But first, I want to talk about the threat for tornadoes across northeast Texas, near Texarkana, northern Louisiana, and along the eastern part of Oklahoma. So if you have friends northeast Texas, just make sure they have a way to get weather warnings just in case a tornado develops out there. We're on the dry side of this system in San Antonio. We're going to be seeing this cool front move through with very little rain and unfortunately not a major drop in temperatures, but it is going to allow for much drier air to move in. So at least it's something for us. So even though we're going to be warmer than average, we're not going to have to deal with that stickiness in the air from the humidity. And as you take a look at the futurecast, there are some indications that close to midnight there could be an isolated shower, especially for those who live east of 281. We're talking New Braunfels, Seguin, San Marcos, Gonzales, Hallettsville. All of those areas have a slightly better chance for one of those isolated showers. Snapshot at 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Again, it's possible to hear a couple of raindrops out there outside in the overnight hours while you're sleeping. It won't amount to much, maybe a 1/10, 2/10 of an inch of rain if you're lucky and get one of those showers. Behind that front, what we'll be seeing instead is mostly sunny skies on Tuesday. A beautiful day tomorrow and a little bit on the warmer side too. The average high temperature this time of year is 63. We're forecasting mid to upper 70s around San Antonio. So not quite as warm as today, but still warmer than average. It'll be 78 in Pleasanton, 75 in Del Rio, 77 in New Braunfels. Braunfels, 73 in Kerrville, and 77 in Hondo. Now, as I mentioned, that cool front is going to bring us drier air, which is welcome. Low humidity will stay with us through about Friday. That means chilly mornings. Temperatures are going to be in the 40s in the mornings Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And comfortable afternoons with that low humidity. We'll see humidity tick up a little bit by Saturday, but just when it gets humid again, another front is going to move through and allow for us to be nice and dry as we head into next week. Now, Courtney mentioned this earlier. Mountain Cedar today is high. It's past 7,000. But with that front moving through tonight, those winds are going to turn around to the north and to the west where Mountain Cedar resides. And so I do think that tomorrow, the next couple of days, Mountain Cedar is likely to rise with the wind tomorrow from the northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Make sure to plan accordingly. Take that allergy medicine. As we look ahead to your KSAT 12-hour forecast, temperatures in the 50s tomorrow, so maybe a light sweater for those who are a little bit cold-blooded. The temperatures are going to warm up to about 75 degrees in the afternoon for the high temperature, with cold mornings in the 40s, comfortable afternoons in the 70s, small chance for rain on Sunday.
I'm just excited for the possibility of showers.
Yes.
My plants are very, very dead.
Yeah.
New ones will get some water.
There you go. In case you missed it, coming up next. Here's today's ICYMI.
It is January 2nd, 2023.
Well, tonight, we now know the suspect accused of firing a gun at a San Antonio police officer who was responding to a family disturbance call. Bexar County jail records show 31-year-old Isaiah Mata shot at a police officer around 11 p.m. on New Year's Eve in the 6100 block of Rose Valley. According to SAPD, the officer went up to the house and then Mata allegedly started shooting. The officer was not hit. Mata then ran into a wooded area behind the house. A police helicopter did find him, and officers were able to shortly arrest him after. He is now facing charges of unlawful carry of a weapon, assault causing bodily injury to a family member, and aggravated assault of a public servant.
New details this morning on a car fire so intense, investigators are still trying to figure out how many people died inside. Only hours into the new year, San Antonio police say the driver crashed into a concrete pillar, setting the car on fire. This was the scene in the 8200 block of I-35 around 4:30 yesterday. Officers say it appears the car crossed over 3 lanes before driving off the highway and slamming into the pillar at the on-ramp. No other vehicle was involved in the crash.
We want to meet one of the San Antonio's newest baby residents, Baby New Year. Avery Rose Jacks made her debut just seconds after midnight at North Central Baptist. Makes her the city's first baby of 2023. She missed Christmas by a week, but she'll bring home quite a haul of gifts with her. This year marks the 23rd year local hospitals have donated gifts for Baby New Year, including a car seat and portable crib. I think she was born like 2 seconds after midnight.
It's going to be a mild evening for us. A stray shower is possible as a weak cool front moves through, but really that cool front is just going to impact our weather in the biggest way by lowering the humidity for the remainder of the week. So tomorrow, expect a high temperature near 75, mostly sunny skies. Early in the mornings, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, it'll be chilly. You'll want the jacket. Temperatures are going to be in the low to mid 40s. But in true Texas fashion, in the afternoon, you'll shrug it off because it'll be in the 70s for the highs. Then over the weekend, there is a chance for some showers on Sunday. We're going to be able to refine that forecast for you. So make sure you have the KSAT Weather Authority app handy. We update the forecast all the time.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
We'll see you after the football game.